10,
9, 8,
7,
6,
3,
2,
1.
0.
Hello everybody! My name is Notgollum. I am your caster for today's match of HAXX versus Team. We're getting into the final stage of this Dash League season, towards the final stage of this Dash League season. Of course, we are not there quite yet. We still have a few more rounds of matches to go before we get towards those final couple of matches here. That being said, this is going to be an exciting match today. The more the matches narrow down in the teams and teams play against each other throughout the season to kind of gain MMR and kind of even the playing field around, you see the matches are closer and closer together in terms of the skill and ability between the teams as everyone starts to figure out their placement on the leaderboards. And yet, that being said, your placement on the leaderboard is not a guarantee of your success against a team lower than you, as we've seen several times here. We are in the Walker matchup, and HAXX is the top MMR SR team of their tier. Team, meanwhile, kind of middling on the scoreboard, but Team is a completely new team this Dash League season, and they have been improving rapidly since the start of this season. I've been very impressed with their capabilities. But they're going to have a difficult match today. HAXX has been around for a little while, and many of these players have been around longer than the team even, and have plenty of experience here. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these teams will bring today. In the meantime, let's take a look at the maps. I'm not sure what map combination we're going to be having today, however, we are going to be having a payload first. I'm thinking that HAXX, as the higher ranked team, is probably going to take their first choice for the payload and then hope that they can dominate with their experience and possibly more skilled players in the domination no matter which map team picks. Which would mean that whichever map team picks for the second map, assuming they pick the domination here, is going to be whichever one they think can provide them more coordination, or if they think they can outkill HAXX, outspeed HAXX, it could be worthwhile for Team to play Waterway. Classically, that map, there is of course strategy to it, but a lot more on an individual level when compared to Quarry, which requires an insane amount of coordination for a domination map. If Team is feeling great about their coordination and thinks they can overwhelm HAXX with their consistency, then Quarry might be the way to go for that second map for domination. Personally, if I were HAXX, I would be hoping for a Waterway against Team and just depend on them being newer to the game and rely on your experience with the map and how to traverse it in order to win. For that same reason, I'm wondering if perhaps HAXX has chosen Canyon as the payload for today. We could take a look here. So far, they do not have a map chosen, but that has been decided upon already. Also important to take a look at, we are on Amsterdam, which is HAXX's preferred server, with the way that these finals, semifinals, quarterfinals, etc. are organized. The higher SR team is going to have first choice of the map, first choice of that start color for the map, and choice of server for that map. The lower ranked team then getting first choice for the second map, second color, second server, etc. Team is a mostly US maybe even entirely US-based team. I'm not quite sure about the entirely US-based, but HAXX, on the flip side, a lot of EU players. Maybe even entirely EU? I'm not sure about that one either. I'll need someone to fact-check me on that information, but it is going to be somewhat difficult for team to overcome on this payload. There are ways around having a higher ping, especially if you're the odd one out. It can actually give you a decent advantage to have a higher ping than everyone else in the lobby, but if your entire team is different from the other enemy team, then you kind of have to shoot much further in front of the other players in order to guarantee hits, and it's difficult to get used to. So I'd be concerned for team on this map here. In the blue corner, starting on attack, pushing that payload, is team with max defense, Leclerc, Jonius Joestar, Humble Trumbles, and Speed. Meanwhile, in the red corner, starting on defense for this payload, is Rocky James, Bulldog, Satan Slayer, D9, and Vanguard for HAXX. I'll be interested to see how Leclerc is going to be pushing that payload. As I understand it, she generally, if not always, is the main cart pusher for her team and main coordinator. She seems to be taking their new captain role fairly well as a result, and often you need someone who's very objective focused to be on that cart because you die a lot. It is not a role with a lot of glory in it, but it is of the utmost importance that you stay focused on that objective. You stay on it as long as possible, and you try to avoid dying when you can, but oftentimes you have to suicide onto the cart so that the rest of your team can get the kills, get the team wipe, and continue moving forward. I expect we're going to be seeing a bit of that out of team. And of course, Satan Slayer, also a very experienced captain for HAXX. If I remember correctly, she has a penchant for shocks. I could be wrong about that, but I seem to remember her having some experience with that, and especially if we end up playing Canyon like I'm suspecting we will, either Canyon or Launchpad, but probably Canyon. We are going to see a lot of that, especially for blue team. Take a look here. They have not selected the map just yet, but HAXX has completed their discussion and is now waiting in the middle for team to do the same. Of course, before the first map, both teams do have 15-minute period to get everything settled, but hopefully these teams have been playing long enough throughout the season that they have an idea of what they're doing. They might just be talking specifics about the team they're going to be playing against today. Leclerc coming in, having a discussion with Satan Slayer. Hello, Captain Talk, to work things out, since we will be doing a server switch after this first map to New York server. A little bit more in between these two teams. Of course, I'm on the West Coast, so Amsterdam is a difficult pull for me, but for those in New York or on the East Coast, it's a little bit more manageable to have only 80 or 90 ping, as opposed to 160 like me. I've had a difficult time playing on Amsterdam sometimes in the past. There we go. Looks like we had a little bit of sound come through on my mic from my speakers. That's never good. And I think I balanced it out a little bit. D9 trying to get up with Rocky James here. For those who don't know, this lobby used to have much more glitchy spots. You used to be able to walk out into this back area here. It was quite entertaining. You could even get into the enemy team's discussion area, which was was always fun, but could be annoying if players did it too much. Nowadays, you can't. The only glitch I'm aware of right now is being able to hop onto the side. You have to do it from an angle, such as where D9 is now or where the camera is placed at the moment. For those of you watching in the audience today or in the future watching this back after the cast has completed, go ahead and leave a like, maybe even a subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined. Hit the bell button to get notifications for when new casts and videos are posted. It helps support the channel, it helps support Dash League in general, this game that we enjoy so much. This is one of my favorite things that we can do with Gela Arthur's mod here. And shout out also to Gela Arthur, a player and a coder for this game, making casting much more enjoyable. Firehorse as well has put a lot of work into casting materials that we use every day, me included. We are forever thankful for those two, and of course for all the other lead casters, commentators, and everyone else who is contributing to making Dash League fun. Now it seems like HAXX has gone back to have a bit of a discussion, but Satan Slayer trying to give me a signal. Or maybe she's trying to grab the camera. There we go. Aww, that's sweet. We are approaching the 13-minute mark at the moment. I'm sure both teams are aware of the time remaining and are ready to get started, just finalizing their battery checks and whatever other last-minute strategies they want to impose here. Still a mystery map for today. I wonder what is up with max defense. Let's take a look here. Let's also, while we're at it, refresh this overlay. Seems to think I'm always watching Speed's POV. That's a little bit strange. Definitely not. I can tell you that for sure. Well, strange. Strange. Guess we'll be watching Speed's POV for today. Oh, it's because of the bottom left. Interesting. Well, that's going to be confusing. I have an idea. Go ahead and bear with me here. I'll make sure that you don't miss any of this cast, but I am going to go into a waiting screen. caster transition. And there we go. We have reached the 15-minute mark. Both teams are ready and waiting, probably waiting for the caster. Giving them a little bit of a classic caster signal, bouncing up and down rapidly. Oh no, it looks like team is missing one player. No idea what happened to them. We've only got a Bot Jordy. Oh, Bot Jordy is gone. And Dusk Skull is in. Seems like both teams are ready to go as soon as Dusk Skull gets prepared. And then we will go ahead and start this Walker Tier quarterfinals match between Team and HAXX. As I predicted on Canyon for today.
Prepare to start.
HAXX starting on defense here. Teams starting on offense. Blue on the cart. I'll be interested to see what the setup is going to look like for HAXX. Often that can be very telling at the beginning of the match for how the rest is going to go. We have Bulldog grabbing the rockets in the back, Vanguard with SMGs. A lot of HAXX players hiding very close to the cart, hoping for team to overextend. One kill on Dustbowl there, but Speed spots where his teammate was killed from, and Blue, with a huge spawn advantage at the beginning of the map, is making the most of it by double stacking this cart here. I love to see this, especially so early on in the map. Sometimes teams can miss out on what a huge advantage they have in the beginning and not make the most of it. Meanwhile, HAXX is making the most of this wall advantage, but Speed, with a good headshot, is doing fantastic on this cart here, which has not stopped and has been mostly double stacking through this first zone. Speed now makes their move forward as the cart begins to reach this hill. This focus on the objective is exactly what you want to be seeing out of blue team here when red is so out of position. They have basically no presence around the cart. They are occasionally getting one kill, which is something you would expect from relatively even teams, that a red player can get at least one kill as they hop into the cart. But if they die immediately after and the cart continues to move forward, that's when you're in trouble. If blue team is able to trade consistently 1-to-1, that generally puts the advantage in blue team as long as they can stay focused on the objective here. But HAXX is starting to get a killer setup around this cart. Team is still making some forward progress on the objective and isn't getting stopped super consistently, but players like Vanguard are making fantastic use out of this high rail and forcing team to be looking left and right in order to take them out. Now team is getting some movement on the objective, and Vanguard is not focused there. Gets a good double kill on cart though. But we're still at a fairly relaxed, fairly standard pace for team as long as they continue to plod forward. HAXX has not had any sort of huge stoppage here. At this current rate, team is still looking at a decent chance of making it to that checkpoint, but some good rockets by Vanguard, maybe even some callouts into the back alley, and good follow-up by his teammates are making it difficult for team to flank, but Vanguard gets taken out while looking down the main rail. Humble Trumbles and Speed hop onto the cart, get some movement around that corner. Now Vanguard is back up at this point with the rockets, but that death of the rockets gave some good movement for team. That being said, HAXX has been better now that they have the spawn advantage, of course. At their coordination, their teamwork, at staying together, team seems to have struggled in pushing forward as a group, which is what you need to be doing at this point in the map as blue. Consistently, you need to be pushing forward with at least 2 other teammates at a time, if you can. But they are trickling in one by one. It looks like we're starting to get a group up here. You can see on the minimap that team is setting up, but HAXX realizes this, sends a disruptor forward, and kills the group before it can really even get started. Team just took a little bit too long with that group, and Bulldog tries to fight Dustbowl in the flank. Dustbowl with double shotties is getting some good kills here, but Vanguard hits the cart with the rockets. Those rockets were not taken out, and HAXX has eaten up a minute and a half at this point of team's time. Vanguard is also doing a fantastic job at playing the far away from the cart game. Has been very good about hooking those rockets onto the cart as well. As a Rocketeer, I am proud to see this movement. And in constantly creating flanks for your team, to follow up on, Vanguard was doing well, but then Duskull with the flank there, double stacked cart movement, and Duskull is still in HAXX's spawn trying to prevent those rockets from setting up. Gets a sight on Vanguard and takes them out. Still no more rockets. Duskull is on an absolute tear, gets a kill on Bulldog, just triple, quadruple kill. Team needs to be following up rapidly. Max defense also in the flank. HAXX has completely lost their flank and not even realized it until it was too late. Now team is getting extreme movement forward on the cart. They're at 2 minutes left, a little bit less than 2 minutes left. And still only 4 or so percentage left to go, and one player in the flank pulling 2 HAXX players out of position. D9 gets the kill there, and meanwhile team gets a full percentage of cart movement because too many HAXX players were distracted, and now HAXX is trying to go on the offensive. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. And they are trying to prove that here. Meanwhile, team has been consistent in their follow-up. They may have been struggling to group a little bit, but as soon as they got players in HAXX's flank, they absolutely annihilated. And hopefully team recognizes that. Good kill by Vanguard there with the rocket. And continues to make the most of it.
1 minute remaining.
Seems like they're starting to push their advantage more and more. Vanguard forced to back away, almost getting killed here as they take a little bit too long to dash up to the checkpoint high ground. Gets taken out. Now Rocky James on the disruption, on the warpath, grabs some health, is watching that main rail and the high rail there, preventing team from getting any sort of easy move forward. Good kill by Max defense. Changes focus to the cart after failing to get that kill, but HAXX is stacking the cart. It is going to be difficult for team to make it through the checkpoint at this rate with only 24 seconds left. If they get a very good push, there is potential. Duskull realizing that Rocket James is causing a bit too much issue for his team. A triple stack on the cart. HAXX following up. Good dash away by Duskull. Good double kill by Duskull. This is Duskull's point. Duskull's checkpoint. Team was doing fantastic on the follow-up, but Duskull has been really impressing me with their flanks. That absolutely helped out team. Team has also done very well at double stacking that cart in just the right times, and it seems they have the right players on that cart, right players for the job. Good kill there. The cart continuing to move forward. Basically 0 HAXX presence actually around the cart. Only 2 players so far have actually made it, and then a good flank by D9. Gets some full stoppage there as they're trying to pick up resources from team. Good kill by D9. Good second kill, third kill, low health, retreats. And is now set up around the cart once again, and that is given more than enough time for the rest of D9's teammates to now set up around the cart. The team has been struggling to recover from losing their advantage. And in the meanwhile, what's almost made up for it is how well they maintain their momentum and advantage. When they have it, when they have the advantage and momentum, they've done very well, but they just cannot seem to recover efficiently and effectively. They eventually get a few kills in a row that allow the cart to then move forward, but one solid flank by Bulldog means that cart is completely stopped even though there's multiple team members left alive. Even Duskull is in HAXX's face. Good hop on the cart there. Even if you're a disruptor, you can always get some objective movement if you're in the area. And now Duskull realizing that HAXX is able to stop team's momentum just a little bit too easily, goes for a flank against Rocky James. Rocky James trying to spawn camp a little bit, but I do not like spawn camping back here. Unless you're killing choice specific players like Duskull, which it seems like Rocky James is able to do, normally you just get taken out like that as soon as you push the cart. And in the meantime, team was getting consistent movement on the objective and has been able to group up as well, and Vanguard was not able to get consistent hits with those rockets onto the cart, which has meant that the cart has reached the top of the hill after being stopped in this first post-checkpoint zone straightaway for so long. They went up that hill very quickly. Often teams can get stopped a couple times moving up that hill as long as the teams are relatively even. HAXX as a whole fairly good with the flanking maneuvers, Satan Slayer trying to take that high dash there, gets a kill on Humble Troubles, and is still riding that main rail because of one missed dash, but is able to recover, grabs the health, grabs the dash, gets killed by Max Defense. Good headshots there. Max Defense has been doing very well with the headshots because of their gun hold, it seems. Good kill on Bulldog as well. They are watching the cart and also waiting for teammates, but takes a little bit too long to grab that high dash. The rest of the team is now with them, starting that group up. Team is playing very defensively. HAXX, meanwhile, playing extremely offensively. It's exactly what you want to be doing. By and large, the best defense is a good offense. Satan Slayer is in team's base, trying to get a flank. It's taken out by Max Defense, but during that entire time, team has been getting good movement on the cart and has been laser focused on this objective. HAXX is struggling to recover and get momentum back in their favor. There's still players like Max Defense left alive, getting headshots every which way. Good double kill by Max Defense, good follow-up on the cart by Satan Slayer, and now HAXX is going to have to stack cart when they can. Humble Trouble's almost getting taken out, but almost is not complete. Vanguard annihilated. No more rockets for HAXX until Vanguard gets the respawn, and team is going to make the most of that movement. The rockets are now back up. Good double hit on the cart, but no kill there means no more dashes for Vanguard, who tries to ride the high rail away and hit the cart at the same time, but gets taken out by Max Defense. Triple wipe on team, but we are at 90%, only 10 percentage points left, and still 2 minutes left to go. If team is able to stay this consistent, they are absolutely going to make it to 100%. And important to note, unlike the rest of the season when we're in the finals tournament, all you need to do is win. It doesn't matter by how much. If you win, that's it. That's your map. That's all you have to do. So making it to 100% is about the most you can expect to win in terms of percentage points. Good follow-up on the cart by Max Defense, who was looking out for Vanguard, but Vanguard has been very tricky with their dashes recently. Now that the cart is more open, it's going to be a little bit easier for the rockets to hit consistently. Vanguard trying to reposition constantly, so that team has no idea where they are until they push the cart. That is one of the biggest killers of Rocketeers, not any one specific player, but being in a predictable position where blue team can automatically push you. Alternatively, being in a position where a player with good pistol accuracy is able to just shoot you down and get headshots. That's exactly what happened with Vanguard getting killed by Max Defense there. Now HAXX setting up around the cart, but no players currently stacking. That means if team really wants to, they can get micro pushes. They'll have to sacrifice their lives in order to do so, with players like Rocky James and that extreme high level of accuracy with those SMGs. They will kill you quickly, but you will get movement on the cart. And so far it seems like they are laser focused on trying to kill Vanguard, but not quite able to take them out. Good kill by Jonius Joestar. That's what I mean about the predictability of your position. Sometimes a player can just pop out of nowhere and take you out if they know exactly where you're going to be or where you could be. Bulldog trying to disrupt, preventing some movement by team, but Dustbolt follows up, gets a kill on Vanguard, tries to get the overtime as well. Double stack on cart, good kill by D9 with double shocks.
Red team wins.
Leaves it at 94.13% for team. Held away from that 100%, barely making it through the checkpoint. Let's see if HAXX is going to have a better pre-checkpoint push here, which could be a great sign of their chances of making it to that 94% mark. That being said, that was well done by team. Players like Jonius Joestar and Duskull setting up closer to the cart, then a little bit of dancing fun in front of blue spawn. See, Max Defense is watching that main row with double SMGs. I really like this position. Using the rocks as cover as well is going to take out any sort of SMGs that HAXX might try to set up, as SMGs are increasingly important as time goes on and players get better at those SMGs and better at the positioning of where they are useful. Those very long sight lines are vitally important for SMGs to set up and prevent the enemy team from being able to push forward past the cart. HAXX is making good use of the fact that Max Defense shouldn't be pushing forward with those SMGs, and Max Defense gets taken out. And now HAXX is absolutely dominating the space. If we remember, team was getting good movement on the cart, but not quite as good as HAXX here, as they are triple stacking right now, and their disruptors have been taken out. And a hop off the cart means that Speed gets enough kills to dash away and then dash back in after a player starts to stack back on once again. And Team already starting to stack red players on the cart. I was worried for a moment that HAXX would dominate the space too well as they moved up to health room and triple stack the cart, but Team has been very good about pulling HAXX's focus away from the objective and towards these players with the important weapons like Speed with the double SMGs, or Max Defense with the double SMGs, or Humble Troubles with the double rockets. They've been very good about getting that cart consistently, despite the difficult angle here. You can see they're going for some wall hits at first, but now are using the low ground in order to make it so that HAXX cannot shoot them from the cart itself. They're going to have to push forward like D9 did. Good kill by D9, tries to take out SMGs but rides the rail for just a little bit too long and loses their advantage of surprise. And now Team is able to return their focus back to the cart. HAXX pushing around the cart just a little bit too much. If we remember, Team was a few percentage points further up than this at this time in the map. They made it to around that bend, starting to see the checkpoint from the cart at about 4 minutes, maybe a little bit slower than that. But Team has been very good about setting up in these strong positions like Speed in the flank with those SMGs and having crossing sightlines as well. And now Speed doing a very good job of wasting HAXX's time by dodging around corners and allows his teammates to follow up rapidly. Their teammates, I suppose. I don't really... Oh no! Max Defense dies on the cart! That was an important accidental death as HAXX has just about made it around the corner with that 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. Each push HAXX has done, I think, has been a little bit weaker than Team's, but they've done it more consistently. Consistently enough that I think HAXX has a very more than decent chance of making it through this checkpoint. They already have Rocky James in the flank, and this is exactly the time when you want to have players in the flank, as now you've distracted enough of team members like Jonius Joestar that HAXX is getting rapid movement on the cart. They've got 3 minutes left, but now they've made it further than Team did when they only had 2 minutes left at this point in the map. Team is really going to need to work on their hold of the main rail, as I think HAXX has been able to ride the rails just a little bit too much. Riding rails is extremely dangerous as it makes your movement very predictable. Jonius Joestar illustrating that for me perfectly. But if you have the space and the enemies are not watching the main rail like Jonius Joestar is not doing right now, then you do have a free ride and you can actually have dashes ready to go once you start to reach the objective and see enemies. Good kill by D9 with the shocks there. Tries to follow up on the cart, gets another kill, gets a little bit of movement. Was ready to hop off, but wanted to get slightly more movement instead. I think that's a good choice by HAXX. They've been very good about their group ups. They've been a lot faster with their group ups than Team. It seems they'll try to be opportunistic with the heavy weapons pickups, but they are not spending as much time doing it as Team did when Team was blue. And as a result, they're making it through this checkpoint with 1 minute and 40 seconds left and no red players in sight until Jonius Joestar hops on that cart. But it's all but guaranteed at this rate that HAXX is going to make it through this checkpoint at a faster time than Team, which is going to be putting a lot of strain on Team's defense. And there we go. Final push there, made it through the checkpoint. Humble Trumbles set up around the cart with rockets. Gives away their position, however. And Bulldog was able to push in and take them out. One thing to keep in mind, especially if you're a player like Rocketeers, is having a ping disadvantage is all the more important for you as players can jump around corners quickly and ping diff you. And that can be especially difficult for Rocketeers who, if they miss a rocket and don't get a hit or a kill, all they're doing is giving away their position. Team seems to have an okay time of being able to set up players around this cart. However, they have had a difficult time using those players set up around the cart to their advantage in order to get stoppage. Humble Trumbles making use of the sniper area. I really like the positioning by the rockets. As long as nobody on HAXX gets a push onto Humble Trumbles, is going to be 3 shots for days. They elect to back up as they realize they're starting to lose that positional advantage from the rest of team is starting to die. I like that repositioning by Humble Trumbles, as this is another good position for Rocketeers to set up and tomahawk the cart. As long as you have allies guarding the flanks, you can grab that bridge dash consistently, you can turn around to watch the cave, you can even get hits on the cart from where Humble Trumbles was. However, he missed just enough times that they felt they had to move forward and try and get some kills, and they get taken out as a result, and now HAXX has the push advantage. They're moving that cart, and team seems to be recovering. HAXX is still moving that cart while team recovers, and in the meantime, HAXX is also able to recover. So team set up around the cart, but I think HAXX is trying to send players through those flanks. They're also riding the main rail just a little bit too much, although that being said, riding rails has worked out wonderfully for HAXX thus far. If you remember, team made it up this hill very quickly, and we can see why it was so important that team made it up that hill so quickly, as HAXX has continued to struggle to get any sort of consistent cart movement through this zone. One full team fight with Satan Slayer as the only survivor is the only reason they've been able to move forward, and Satan Slayer pops off to try and take out rockets and explosives. Dies as a result. I like Vanguard's focus on the objective here a little bit more, as HAXX makes it to the top of that hill with 4 minutes, 48 seconds left. Making it through checkpoint a full minute ahead of the team is really working in their favor at the moment, as they've consistently got some cart movement past that earlier stoppage. Max defense with the cart hold. Good bullet dodging there. Gets taken out. Duskull able to follow up. Almost gets a kill on Rocky James. Not quite able to do so. Team has been very focused on the objective here and is trying to keep the fights on the cart, which is where red team wants them. Blue, meanwhile, wants to pull focus away from the objective so they can sneak players onto it. Bulldog set up around the cart, gets taken out by Max defense. Good kill there. Now set up in the attic, watching the common push sightlines for HAXX. I will say one thing, team has been in this post-checkpoint, and a little bit in the pre-checkpoint too, but they didn't have quite as many opportunities. In this post-checkpoint, very good about stacking red players on cart. This is a suicide position, but just like being the cart pusher on blue, vitally important in these later zones for preventing micro pushes by blue. And you can see Max defense popped off because they must have called out that they were low health, but someone else followed up. Now Max defense was looking for players but didn't notice that somebody snuck past them onto the cart. A little bit of cart movement for HAXX, but team still set up around this objective. 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to make it a mere 10%. HAXX has been getting these micro pushes in here, and team needs to continue to stack players on this cart if they want to prevent that movement. D9 following up, taking out the shocks. The rockets are still alive, but they're missing their shots. You have to be consistent with those rockets, or else you'll get pushed immediately after, and then you won't be able to stop the objective. Good kill by D9 there, takes out 2 players. Is taken out as they try to move the cart because there was team members stacked on there, and now team is trying to push their advantage a little bit, prevent HAXX from getting into a position to triple dash to the cart and get movement and also push their rockets out of position. Meanwhile, offensive rockets on the part of HAXX, they are just trying to switch something up as they realize at this rate they might not make it to that 100%. I feel like if they kept being as consistent as they've been, HAXX might have a chance of winning here. However, it is still a difficult ask. Now Max defense is on the warpath here with 1 shot before they die. Takes out Vanguard and now returns to the cart, having disrupted effectively. Bulldog takes them out, but those resources are stolen. That potential push that HAXX could have had with those 2 players, were they alive, has been stopped. Now we are past the 2-minute left mark with less than 10% for HAXX to go, and Rocky James getting a killer disruption in that basement there. HAXX getting some good movement on the cart. Team needs to follow up, and Humble Trumbles dies. That is devastating, as now they are going to respawn and try and only be able to pick up 1 rocket. They had double rockets, they had just gotten them, and you could see how that got them out of a difficult position, being able to shoot both rockets and guarantee a kill. Good hit on the cart, killing D9. You don't need double rockets in order to clear the cart, as that objective player, sometimes you can do stuff like that. Just hop right next to the cart. But it's team member after team member getting taken out as they desperately try to hold this objective. They're going to have to do this for a full minute as HAXX only has 1% left to go, less than 1% left to go, and they still have players moving that cart. Players like Speed with the shocks for team don't want to be stacking on, but they have to as HAXX is nearly at that 100%, that 94% mark, and they make it. With 47 seconds left, HAXX wins this payload. Well done, HAXX. We can go ahead and take a look at the scoreboards here. Here, let's get just a little bit of this. Top scoring for team is Speed at 8,800.66 kills, 65 deaths, positive KD, just barely, but still love to see it. Meanwhile, for HAXX, no, I don't want to report this player. Rocky James, top scoring for their team, 73 kills, 58 deaths, 8,500 score. Well done. Uh-oh. I do not like that. There we go. Now we are righted up. And we will be changing servers here, so bear with me as I head to the waiting screen. In the next lobby on New York server, which is going to be a little bit more in team's advantage. That was a fairly close payload. Team was very good at the organization of their pushes when they had their team all together, but HAXX was just more consistent with it. And that is going to be vitally important for the domination today. Still waiting on Max Defense to actually select the map that both teams have agreed on for today, but that's par for the course. We're used to that at this rate. As we are waiting for HAXX to get their two other team members in, they might be doing a little bit of a roster swap for this map. It's hard to say. That being said, neither team seemed to extremely outkill the other, and that is also vitally important for domination, where obviously this is a baseline statement for this game. Kills are not everything, but being able to win 1v1 fights is so helpful. You can win matches despite you and your entire team getting outkilled. UNSC was very good about doing that last season, almost famous for it in the Dasher tier even. But if the other team can kill more than you, especially on domination, then you'll just lose positional advantage over and over again, and the team will be able to push into your base and hold the buttons and stop the countdown timers enough times to score those 3 points before you can. So the fact that neither team extremely outkilled the other is very telling. This is going to be a close one. Especially for the fact that we were on HAXX's advantage server previously. HAXX did do better than Team. I won't lie about that. Obviously they won. But now with Team having the ping advantage, there is opportunity to bring this back into a double control point as a finisher. Keep in mind, if HAXX wins this next map, that's it. That is the end of Team's chances. And they will not win this match against HAXX. If they win this map, however, we will move on to double control point, 1 control point on each team's primary server. So a little bit of dancing here. We do have a 10-minute timer for in between matches before a team will have to forfeit for not having 5, and I highly doubt that's going to be the case for HAXX. It does seem like they're having a little bit of difficulty getting those last 2 players in, but no problems here. Still got plenty of time for teams to discuss strategies and recharge their headsets a little bit if that's needed. We've got Bulldog in the lobby, and now HAXX is only down 1 player at the moment. I'm not worried about them. Go. We've got D9 now in the lobby with both teams having all 5 players. They will just be finishing up their discussions, and then we will get this second map on New York server started. How's everyone in the chat doing today? What are your bets for which team is going to take this domination map? Y'all already know which team I want to see win. It's Team. I want to see a control point. We don't have enough control points in this game, and they are one of the most exciting maps to watch because it is so rapid, so quick fire. You have to be light on your feet. You have to be consistent. It has everything Dash League enjoyer could want. Heisenberg in the chat having a guess that HAXX might prefer Quarry. Based on the way that their pushes were fairly consistent for this payload, I can see that being a potential for them. But Quarry, should HAXX choose it? Or rather, should Team choose it? Could play a little bit more to the fact that Team tends to take a little bit longer to recruit based on what I saw. You have multiple opportunities to get your team all together for a push, and each time Team was able to do so on that payload, they got better results, in my opinion, than HAXX did. HAXX just did it more often and was able to get some sort of movement more often than Team, and that's why they won that payload. But all you really need for winning domination is one good mega push. that works to get you your point. All you have to do, when you really think about it, is do that 3 times, and then you win. 3 good pushes that lock out the enemy team and get you a countdown score on the button while they're not able to respawn 3 times. You do it successfully, you win. Whereas you have to do it many times on payload, pushing consistently, gives the other team opportunity to adapt, but it is a constant struggle on domination. So I'll be interested to see what team has elected to play as domination for today. Considering they're starting on red, it could be that they are going for Quarry, which, for those who don't know, Quarry is a slightly asymmetric map, giving, I think, slight advantage to the red team, who can slightly quicker grab that dash from the middle B button than blue. And if we take a look here, it does seem like they have elected to play Quarry. For today, they are also lining up for a Macarena here. Oh, this is great. I love this. And now with both teams geared up and ready to go, I suppose we'll allow them to finish their dance and start the match. The second map, Team versus HAXX on Quarry, with team starting on red, HAXX on blue.
Match starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
You see
Red
how effective
takes
this
A.
opener for HAXX is going to be. Both teams electing to take their home button rather than skipping it.
First elimination.
But team getting the advantage through the tunnel, as Duskull is able to grab that tunnel dash and still has max defense following up.
Red
HAXX able to
takes
grab
C.
B meantime. The team has
Red
control of
team
HAXX's base for the moment and is getting a
counter.
countdown, but max defense was not watching HAXX's button, gets a kill on D9, and that gives HAXX the chance
Red
to
takes
recover.
B.
Team is not
Red
going to win
counter.
rapid fire on
Red
this
team
opener.
scores
Good recovery
3,
by HAXX. They are
2,
still at a disadvantage.
1.
And team, with the button hold, gets an early score. I take
round.
back whatever I just said. Good push by team, especially through that tunnel. They were able to recover on the B button, and that allowed the tunnel team
Match starts in
to
3,
get the cap
2,
in HAXX's base.
1, go.
Max defense still moving
Red
forward, grabs
takes
that far
A.
dash. That is what guarantees them to grab that tunnel dash faster than HAXX did. They also grabbed the SMGs. It seems like they went for a fast opener initially, but are now relying on the fact that HAXX might overpush into this tunnel to try and counter what ends up actually not being a rapid fire push. And now max defense with the double SMGs is following up with Duskull on HAXX's base. Duskull gets some good kills there. They are going to have to team wipe at least most of HAXX if they want to actually guarantee a score, but there's only 2 HAXX players left alive. No hold on the button means HAXX has the chance to recover and gets a kill on max defense and on Duskull. LeClaire still holding down B as they realize HAXX has countered that killer push by team.
Red takes B.
That was very important. Good kill on Duskull by Vanguard. Still has 1 player left to fight against in the tunnel here. We can also take a look in the bottom left screen. LeClaire is fighting for her life on B, getting some good kills around the button here, dashing back and forth, making HAXX look every which way as she makes time for her teammates to follow up. And now, with Duskull having control of the tunnel, moving forward, good kill by Bulldog, who is now playing more defensive. I don't know about this choice. If you're just playing for MMR, then playing completely defensive on this map is very viable for a timeout, especially when you're at the disadvantage and don't think you'll be able to get a score back. But you have to win this map. That is the only thing that's important. And Bulldog realized that. Moved forward, gets taken out by Duskull, and now LeClaire is still holding down B, waiting for HAXX to try and jump past the button as the rest of her teammates move forward, get a few kills, but get taken out. There's still 1 team player left alive. Team loses B, grabs B back. LeClaire has been very consistent about trying to hold that B button, and now it's Duskull versus Rocky James. Duskull taken out, and now HAXX, for the first time, remember, has the opportunity to try and get a countdown on team's base. Rocky James is taken out by LeClaire. Gave away their position just a little bit too much, and now it's D9 fighting for their life. Taken out, but Bulldog is still alive in team's base. Gets a hit, but does not get a countdown as they did not have control of B. That was team. And now it's Jonius in HAXX's base. Gets a countdown. Countdown countered. HAXX has been much better since the start of this match, where team got that first point of having players in the right places to get a counter when it's needed. Meanwhile, team has been very good about trying to prevent counter pushes onto B while they're pushing into HAXX's base. I wonder if those B players are still a little bit out of position. Good hold on the button by Duskull, but doesn't hold it long enough. Max defense forced to follow up, but there was a counter. Good button hold there. That's what it needs to be. Where nothing the enemy does gets you off that button. Even if they kill you, they don't have the time to hit it. That is what a button hold is supposed to be. Good job. Jonius Joestar, I believe, is who that was. You can see back in the cast. And now, we're on match point. HAXX at 0, team at 2. Their openers have been killer. Very organized, very well practiced. You can see HAXX is struggling against this organization. They're trying everything they can to get control of the tunnel, get control of B, but team has been very good about following up at the right time, waiting to push until the rest of their teammates are ready, and that is why they have scored 2 points and HAXX has scored none. HAXX has been recovering slowly but surely. This could be the point where things turn around in HAXX's favor, but it is not looking good. Now that Max defense is making a play, leaving HAXX's player stuck in the tunnel. Can they get that kill? No, they can't. So that's going to be a counter for HAXX, and now team is going to have to get a near team wipe in order to get a cap on that button, which they are not going to get, as all of HAXX is alive in their own base. This is not going to turn into a point because of that one missed kill, unfortunately. But you saw how close that was. Team almost got their 3rd point already, and now Duskull moving through the tunnel gets a hit on HAXX's button with no presence on the part of HAXX around B. Only one player at the B button and 2 team players in HAXX's base. One turns around to get B. 2 players pushing forward from HAXX around the button, and now there's more than enough time for HAXX to recover. Jonius tries to get a double kill, but gets taken out by Vanguard, who now moves forward to the B button, trying to counter somewhere else besides their own base. You don't want to be fighting in your own base the whole time. Leclerc takes them out because they were low on dashes, and now moves forward. Rocky James making their way to the B button, gets a hit there, and now HAXX has control of their own base and of B. But for how long? Rocky James trying to make the most of those resources while HAXX tries to recover their own base. Good double hold there, but there's too much HAXX presence on B. Holding the button right now is not what you want to be doing, as it will just get taken out. We saw Max Defense's fellow player getting killed there. Max Defense, meanwhile, on an absolute tear in HAXX's base. Team should have the opportunity to get B. Max Defense playing for kills, however, because there's more than enough HAXX players left alive to get consistent counters. These team members have to be following up on the button if they want to actually turn this countdown into a score. HAXX has been too good about getting counters there, and team has not been good enough about holding that button. Jonius now holding there. It's killed by a rocket. D9 following up, getting another kill there. That was vitally important that D9 get those rocket kills. We can see them in the bottom left screen there.
Blue takes B.
Well done, D9. The rest of HAXX also doing fantastic on those counters, but you have to keep in mind that they are counters. These are not countdowns for HAXX or scores. They're not pushing any sort of advantage. They are scrambling to recover every single time. It's almost a matter of time at this rate that team is going to get the scores. They've been able to move through the tunnel too consistently for HAXX's comfort. HAXX, meanwhile, in team's base, has control of B and team's base. This is why these team players have been able to live for so long in HAXX's base, as there's counters and button flips every which way on every point of the map. Players are all over the place from both teams. Team still has a tentative hold on HAXX's base, which is not going to turn into a countdown just yet, as Bulldog gets a hit on the button. Good kill by Max Defense. Rocky James turns around, last second counter there. Well done, Rocky James. Not a moment too late or too soon. Now team is switching things up a little bit with Claire pushing forward into the tunnel. I like the switching things up too. Keep the enemy off their feet. Never let them know what to expect. That's a good kill on Rocky James there. We saw how well they defended that button. So taking that player out could be very important. You need to take out the rockets as well. Vanguard is dead. No rockets for HAXX, but no presence from team around HAXX's button. HAXX gets a hit on B, and that prevents team from getting the score. Max Defense gets a kill on D9. Tries to take out Vanguard as well. Good kill on Vanguard. Bulldog able to follow up. Now HAXX has control of their own button. Hits team's base. Does not have B. Bulldog trying to change that as they move through the tunnel. Good kill by Humble Trumbles is going to keep control of B in team's favor. Now a countdown for team. But HAXX able to counter in team's base. There's still a player over there somehow surviving. That's giving more than enough time. Rocky James is making more than enough time for their team to follow up. Rocky James getting taken out, and now team is able to get their own base once again. All they have left is HAXX's base. It was a good play by Rocky James, but they were just not quite able to turn that into an actual countdown and score for HAXX. And now D9 playing very defensively as they realize the counter push has started for team. Jonius Joestar and Max Defense making their way towards HAXX's button. Gets the far dash, gets the health, gets a kill on D9 as well. Tries to hit the button, gets taken out. Brief countdown for team. But the longer HAXX has to defend their own base, the better they are getting at doing it. The team needs to close this out somewhat quickly, or else there might actually be an opportunity for HAXX to start to recover as they get used to team's rapid play style and switching things up more and more. 2 kills, 3 HAXX players dead, 1 able to respawn, but team is making a play for HAXX's base. Does not have control of B, however. Good kill by Bulldog. And now team is down 2 buttons. Gets a hit, almost a countdown in HAXX's base. Duskull riding that high rail is now forcing these HAXX players to look every which direction. Takes out Vanguard as well. But no follow-up means no point.
Blue takes B. Red takes B. Red team.
Now it's making their way through the tunnel, but then the countdown at their own base means they might have turned back around. You see Vanguard in the tunnel there. D9 playing very defensively at the moment, struggling to get up to that high rail and reposition. He's now just waiting for whatever team is going to push from. Realizes there's a fight going on in the tunnel, which HAXX wins. But HAXX is still playing too defensively. We saw 2 HAXX players completely back up into their own base for help. D9 gets some good kills with the rockets there. Opportunity to hit the button. Not enough dashes to get a countdown for HAXX.
Red takes B.
HAXX has been doing a very good job with their B control when it's needed, when it's important. Meanwhile, team has been much better than HAXX, much more consistent than HAXX at pushing through this tunnel. Players like Jonius Joestar are very good at button holding. We saw a whole point was scored earlier because of that.
Red takes C.
But for how good team has been at pushing through the tunnel, HAXX has been just good enough at preventing the tunnel team from actually getting any sort of forward progress for an actual counter. Or countdown, rather. Now team is pushing through that tunnel. Jonius Joestar gets the help and is now trying to hide in a corner, charge up some dashes, wait for the right time to strike, as there are too many HAXX players in HAXX's base, and team does not have control of the B button. One of his fellow players makes a play.
Counter. Red team. Counter. Red team.
And now team is getting a countdown. Oh, but the double button hold gets taken out by Vanguard with the rockets. You have to be aware if a player who's good at rockets is alive. on Quarry,
Red takes A.
as they absolutely will make a play for those. Button holding is so important on this map and happens so often. Sometimes you can blindly shoot a rocket at a button and expect to get a kill even if there's not currently any players on it.
Blue takes B.
We're also seeing the strength of SMGs on this map, especially through the tunnel, where there's a lot of long sightlines. Stone Slayer now starting to make a play forward with her teammates towards team's base. And this is what I'm talking about. HAXX is getting better and better at pushing their advantage and trying to get a score. There are only 11 minutes left, and HAXX has to score 2 points to even it up. But they have a decent chance of doing so.
Blue team scores.
And we get a countdown for HAXX.
Countered.
With only one team member down, that means the team is all but guaranteed to actually get a counter here no matter how many HAXX players hold around the button. There's just too many bullets. And that means HAXX does not score a point, does not have their own base either, only has B. Team makes a play towards the B button. Max Defense gets a kill. Good headshot there. Stealing resources from HAXX, just trying to distract them and hold them up in their own base as team pushes forward from B, but the follow-up is not quick enough. They get taken out, and now there's a tunnel push moving forward, but Vanguard is going to try and turn around and defend their own point. Gets a kill on Joni's Joestar as well, because D9 and Bulldog were defending HAXX's base, and now this push is all but stopped as Leclerc, I believe, it's completely alone outside of B, trying to do what she can to prevent HAXX from following up on the B button, but a good kill with the rockets by Bulldog is going to mean
Blue takes B.
they have a chance to take B and prevent
Blue takes
this
C.
countdown.
Red team scores. 3,
Now a countdown
2,
for team
1.
turns into a point because there were too many team members left alive. That's 3 for team, 0 for HAXX, and we are moving on to control point. We've got a game, everybody. We've got a game. Love to see it. Now we can take a look at the scores here. Top scoring for team is Duskull. The Tunnel Lab themselves, 45 kills, 28 deaths, 1200 score. Top scoring for HAXX is D9, 25 kills, 39 deaths, 1000 score. You see the kills are a little bit more even for HAXX. Meanwhile, team seems to have their roles very figured out, and that tunnel team was doing a killer job of the pushing forward. And now they move on to control point. This will be the first control point staying on the New York server, which gives team a slight advantage here. Then, with keeping whatever score, whichever team makes it to 300 first, in mind, move on to the second control point on HAXX's preferred server on Amsterdam. Whoever wins overall there is the final winner of this match between HAXX and team. What a good game so far. That was intense. And that was fun to talk over too. I like the way that team plays, and HAXX was getting better and better at trying to adapt. They're going to need to stay focused on the objective here. Because of how often you tend to die on control point and how rapidly you need to get back to that button and how useful it is to just stay focused around the button and not get distracted, pulled in other directions. I will give team my slight overall guess that they'll win this control point. Obviously, I think they'll win the one on their server advantage, but I think they'll win or get just enough score on the Amsterdam server as well to win overall. They seem to have great focus on their roles. They definitely have well-defined roles. I can't define exactly what those are for a team, but it is very clear that everyone knows what their job is and is going to do that job to the best of their ability. HAXX, meanwhile, has a good variety of players. It seems like they have roles as well. They're all fairly experienced. This is the more experienced team historically, but they were struggling with their recovery on that domination, and domination is a little bit closer to control point than payload is to control point in terms of overall mindset and strategy that is useful. So I'll be interested to see what the scores will be at the end of this first control point here, and whether or not HAXX is actually even going to have a realistic chance of getting the win on the second control point as well. That being said, if HAXX wins this first control point, it is all but lights out for team. If they are able to win on their server disadvantage, then team is going to have a terrible time of trying to get the win on the second one here. We'll just have to wait for both teams to finish their discussion, charge their headsets, as we do have another 10 or 20-ish minutes left, since each control point, the longest it can last is 600 seconds, about 10 minutes. So if we multiply that by 2, that's math. There you go, 20 minutes left. Not a long time, less than one payload, less than the potential for one domination as well. This truly is a rapid fire map. But I'm very happy with how both of these teams have been performing so far today. It's been wonderful to talk over, wonderful to watch. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the matches this cycle. Looks like at this point, the team is ready to go. They're grouping up in the middle here. HAXX, meanwhile, still finishing up their discussions, their headset charging, their checking of their devices before gearing up for this first control point. And now, since we have a little bit of a pause and a little bit of an opportunity to watch team have a dance-off with HAXX for the third time in a row, this would be a great time to remind you to like and subscribe if you like this content. I know pretty much everyone in the audience is already a player of this game, and possibly even in this league as well. If you're not familiar with our content, make sure to check out other videos and casts that we have already posted on the channel. It's all very exciting stuff. This is a game of passion. None of us casters get paid for any of this. We all do it for the love of the game and for the love of the competitive league. Satan Slayer is showing her appreciation for us casters and for every one of you lovely people in the audience as well. Let's get started. Team versus HAXX. Control point number 1 on New York server.
Match starts in 3, 2, 1, go. Red team has
Trying to counter HAXX,
captured.
moving around the side from their own dash side. But HAXX getting an initial lead on the button after team got the first hit. They seem to have a faster dasher at the start, but that is not going to turn into points if you're not consistent enough about hitting that button, which it seems like HAXX is. they've learned from that domination how much they need to focus up. We are in control point. This is the last map type that we will be playing. It is not going to be an easy win. So they are going to be trying their hearts out.
Blue team has captured the control point. Red team has captured the control point.
Now team is starting to get a consistent hold on the button. HAXX trying to follow up, but Humble Trumbles is just absolutely annihilating with the SMGs on this button. And the rest of their teammates doing a great job of following up. That is why team has started to catch up from HAXX's early lead and now has a lead of their own. A tentative lead nonetheless. We are still in the very early stages of this match. But a lead's a lead. Hits on the cart, tries to take out Humble Trumbles. Humble Trumbles is still more than comfortable pre-firing this button with those SMGs, punishing HAXX for getting players around the button. And possibly even forcing HAXX players to move out of position in order to take out Humble Trumbles, which I think HAXX is going to need to do, as team has been too good about setting up around this button. See Vanguard, hit there, most of the team has been wiped. Humble Trumble still left alive, now getting taken out, we can see on the scoreboard, and now HAXX has the opportunity to get back into the swing of things. Team still has control of the button, but with no double SMG set up for the moment. This could be the time for HAXX to start to get the score in their favor. Seems like HAXX likes to hold the button just a little bit too much. That gives Humble Trumbles more than enough time to take players standing around the button out. Meanwhile, team has been very consistent with trying to move players in and out from the button. For the most part, that's just what I'm seeing so far on the screen. Good kill by Bulldog as well. Eventually getting taken out. Now it's Leclerc on the button, hitting it over and over, forcing HAXX to stay next to the button if they want to keep control of it, while Max Defense follows up and gets the kill. That was a good play by Leclerc, and Max Defense gets another kill as well, but HAXX has control of the button once again, forcing Humble Trumbles to move forward. They're the one with the double SMGs. You want them in long sightlines, which Humble Trumbles is able to set up in once again. As Junior Suicide on the button. HAXX getting tentative control back and forth, but they are slowly but surely falling behind. It's a slippery slope here as team continues to get longer and longer holds around this button that HAXX is having a difficult time of breaking. This is what I was talking about. Staying extremely focused on the objective is the way to take the map. You don't have to go out of your way to spawn camp the opponent to prevent them from moving forward, because somebody is always going to sneak past you. So if you just stay around the button and try and team wipe the enemy who is stuck around the button, you'll get the scores and you'll get the win. That's something the team's been very good about. They've had players around the button at all times. The second one HAXX player hits it, turns around, it's already back to red. HAXX just needs to play a little bit faster as teams' holds get stronger and stronger as they get used to whatever strategies HAXX is trying to pull here. And players like Humble Trumbles, even though they're obviously main killers for their team, by the fact that they're picking up SMGs and shouldn't always be around the button, even they are okay with being focused on the objective, which is exactly what you want. You want everyone on your team being ready to hit that button as you control of it for as long as possible. Not having the button in your favor at all times is how you slowly but surely turn a slight disadvantage into an insurmountable disadvantage as the team is continuing to increase their lead of more than 50 score, 50 seconds. That's nearly a whole minute that HAXX has to hold the button more than team in order to take this first map. Now, unlike the other two maps, this first control point is not just about winning, it is about winning as much as possible. Since we will be playing the second control point on Amsterdam, winning as much as possible, as team is trying to do here, and I think at least is all but guaranteed at this point, is going to be vital in helping them out on the Amsterdam server, which undoubtedly all these HAXX players are much more used to playing than New York. And there's every possibility that HAXX wins the Amsterdam control point as well.
Blue team has captured the control point.
It will then just be a matter of trying to win
Captured the
the absolute
control
control point more than this control point on New York. HAXX is also being given time to readjust the way the team has been playing, focused on this objective, and they are starting to close that lead a little bit at a time. They're starting to play a little bit more like team as well, focused on the objective. They are just getting team wiped a little bit too quickly compared to team. When team pushed in, they only needed one group push in order to take out HAXX's hold. Meanwhile, HAXX has had to use multiple group pushes at a time. In a row, rather, in order to take out team's hold of this button. That is why they are at such a disadvantage at the moment. Rocky James gets control of that dash, hit on the button. There's still two team players left alive, getting hits there, and Humble Troubles set up with the SMGs. Duskull takes out Rocky James, and now team has control of the button, despite starting to lose that team fight and only 2 team players being left alive afterwards. That's all you need. All you need is 1 player left to hit that button. Good headshot by Duskull as well, now riding that high row, preventing HAXX from moving forward through that attic. Gets a kill on Satan Slayer as well. And now 1 more player following up. Good job skipping Duskull. Sometimes players can get distracted by disruptors. It's important to note that a disruptor's main job is not to get kills. It is to waste the enemy team's time away from the objective. Getting kills is one fantastically effective way to do that, but if you force the enemy team to focus on you and not what they need to be focusing on, the button in this case, you're doing your job, even if you kill the button. Satan Slayer do that.
Red team has captured the
Skip past the disruptor, missing hits on the button, and now HAXX is starting to get some form of control and accrue more and more score here. The Humble Tumbles very good with those dual SMGs. I'm sorry, Humble, you're in the bottom left of the screen already. I'm going to have to skip off you, even though you're doing fantastic at the moment. Rocky James makes a play for the button. I don't know if they have time with them during this play. They were also within sight of Humble Tumbles, and now they get taken out by Max Defense, who moves around, gets some hits on the button. HAXX has been very good about following up on the button. They've been getting better at it, but the team is still at a 74, 75 increasing point advantage here. Gets a hit on the button as well. Rocky James taken out. Satan Slayer gets a little bit distracted there, and as a result, gets taken out.
Blue team has captured the control point. Blue team has captured
Now it's
the
D9
control
around the
point.
button by themselves. Only 1 team player moving forward to try and take them out. Gets killed. Now HAXX has a chance to set up around the button. Good kill by Duskull. Rapidly tries to hit the button. You can see the panic there as they missed it initially because HAXX was holding it just a little bit too well. They're at 90 score, and now team just needs 8 seconds, 7 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2, 1, 0. There we go. Team wins this first control point on New York, 300 to 223. In order to win, HAXX is going to need to exceed, at a minimum, HAXX needs to win at 300 versus team's 222. That is the closest they can get. If team passes 222 points, if they get 223 in this second control point, they will win this quarterfinals match in the walk-up tier between team and HAXX. That is the mark we are going to be looking out for today as we wait for the lobby to end and then move on to the second server. So, as a result, you lovely folks are going to hang out with me in the podcast room. Now, I've only just now realized that there's every possibility that I've been talking while we were in this game will begin soon looking room, and you were not able to hear me because my mic was not on for this room. But regardless, you can hear me now. That's all that matters, right? So I'm making my way towards the next server. Slowly but surely, I'm going to have to get both my casting drones in there, but you get to hang out with me in the meantime. And hello everyone. Now we are in the second lobby to confirm this is Amsterdam that we are playing in today for this second control point. Now as soon as both teams get all of their players in here with their headsets on, they should go ahead and get started. As the idea is to essentially play this like one long map. That's the goal. That's what you want to try to do, if you can. Seems like Humble Trumbles is having trouble with their controllers here. Possibly taking a swig of water or something, who knows. But we are going to head and start the second control point on Amsterdam. HAXX versus team.
Match starts.
223 is the score we are looking for today.
Red
Team
team
gets
first
to 223, they will win.
Blue team has captured the control point.
Or rather, they will tie. If they get to 224, they will win this one. So far, they're off to a strong start. HAXX getting some initial control of the button here, but Humble Trumbles once again set up in the back line, causing some grief for HAXX.
Red team has captured the control point. Blue team has captured the control point. Red team has
They can play around the
captured
side. Hopefully they realize just how vital Humble Trumbles has been in setting up around the button. And now HAXX getting a strong advantage in their favor. I think the server they're playing on
Red team has
has played a huge factor personally for these players in their performance, as HAXX is off to a rocking start. The team is struggling to recover from the ping change.
Blue team has captured the control point. Red team
Good kill by Destro there. Play around the button, Bulldog able to take them out. Max defense follows
has
up.
captured the
Taken
control
out by D9.
point.
HAXX still has control of the button. A little bit of a gun finger shake there. That's going to get taken out once again. HAXX, though, very good about their focus on the objective. The team was able to set up here, but HAXX has still gotten hits and is now distracting Humble Trumbles from looking at that button. This is giving HAXX the opportunity to get control of it. Once again, his team now needs to turn the focus back around towards that button.
The control point.
There's a Humble Trumbles can only do so much from the back line. Of course, they can get kills if HAXX is going to hold the button, if they're going to pop down an opportunity for kills, but they cannot hit anywhere except the button from that position. So as long as HAXX is out of the way, so long as Humble Trumbles is alive,
Blue team has captured the control point.
they'll have the chance to increase their lead.
Red team
Further.
has captured the control point.
Satan Seven is pushing the button, gets a hit on it, doesn't realize that the button is already their color. As a result, it's taken out because you do get a dash every time you hit the button.
Captured the control point.
And if you hit the button, or rather, every time you hit the button and change its color to yours. You cannot change the color to yours. Touching the button doesn't happen for you, and you can often get stuck there. Good double kill by Jonius Joestar as well, and a terrible miss on the button by Jonius Joestar. Luckily, their teammate was able to follow up, and so far, it is not looking good for HAXX. They have the lead, but it is slight. It needs to be insurmountable if they want to be able to take this map. And so far, Team is doing a wonderful job of trying to keep the score close despite the disadvantage they are playing at today. D9 staying laser focused on that button as well, getting kills when it's relevant, but as soon as Team hits that button, HAXX follows up. And there's Circle on the offensive once again. Vanguard pushes forward, taken up by Max defense, and now it's D9. They're on the button with one more of their teammates. Good kill there. Duskull able to follow up, moves into the attic, tries to take out those rockets. Meanwhile, the rest of their teammates follow up, but Bulldog is taken out, and now Team has control of the button. HAXX struggling to follow up. We can see it's Leclerc versus, I think, Satan Slayer. Leclerc taken out, Jody is following up, Duskull in the attic. Now Team has control of the button once again and is closing that lead once again. HAXX making another play for the button. The team is starting to get that killer setup that they had earlier, and it is looking terrible for the chances of HAXX being able to take this map. They need to change something quickly and change it consistently if they want to be able to take this map or chances to hit on the button if it's taken out, because there's still too many team players left alive able to follow up, and now HAXX barely retaining some kind of control here, eventually loses the team fight since the rest of those teammates were able to follow up, and now Team is almost going to actually have a point lead on the control point here, which is terrible news for HAXX as they need to win by 80 score, more than 80 score, in order to take the control point victory and win these quarterfinals overall. HAXX has lost their lead actually at this rate, and now D9 is moving back to spawn to try and disrupt. I think that passiveness is actually what's hurting HAXX a little bit here. They need to stay focused on the objective and stay focused forward. That is what Team is doing. Leclerc making some calls to teammates as well, looking every which direction, forcing HAXX to move in and look around at every direction once they hit the button. Trying to split the enemy team's focus is what is going to give you a chance at scoring. A chance at getting the points advantage in your favor. HAXX is now playing from behind. Now Humble Jumble's sitting up. No SMGs for them to pick up. As a result, they're not going to stand around and do nothing and wait for those SMGs. They're going to move forward to the objective, because that is the only thing that is ultimately important. You can see as soon as they get some kind of advantage, they make it actively try to make it harder for HAXX to actually reach that button, and harder for HAXX to group up. That is why Team has the points advantage now. HAXX has controlled the button. Humble Trumbles was not able to SMG lock down that button, and now getting taken out, HAXX able to recover the score. That being said, Team only needs another 50 or so points, 40 or so points, in order to take the second control point and win the quarterfinals. HAXX cannot stay focused on this button and keep winning these team fights, and that's going to be it. We are at 191 seconds for Team, counting up. Humble Jumble is playing from a very aggressive position, trying to prevent HAXX from even moving through the lobby and pull their attention away from the button, exactly like I was talking about earlier. If the enemy team's focus is away from the button, then they can't get the win. Team playing very close to the button here. They realize how close to victory they are, and HAXX realizes how much further they have left to go and how well they're going to have to play if they want a chance at winning this quarterfinals. But it is all but guaranteed at this rate that a couple more pushes from now, Team is going to take the victory. They are at 217 points. HAXX at 208, 219. Its button is still in control of Team. 222. One more score for Team to tie it up and then take the victory. One more now to take the victory, and that's 224. Team are your victors. Now, of course, both these teams aren't going to play out the rest of this match, as it's only sporting good for the score as well. But officially, from all official standpoints, Team is the winner of this Walker Tier Dash League quarterfinals match. Being said, it's still an exciting match to watch. You can learn a lot from it. especially from the way Team is staying focused on this objective, and Rocky Team has generally been good about their flanks. Their routes that they take and their accuracy when they do flank has really impressed me.
Blue team has captured the control point. Red team has captured the control point. Blue team has captured the control point. Red team has captured the control point. Blue team has captured the control point. Red team has captured the control point. Blue team has captured the control point. Red team has captured the control point. Blue team has captured the control point.
You can see HAXX is still maintaining something of a lead here for this second map. The team is doing their best to stay on their heels. Any sort of lead that team did have seems to have quickly ended as soon as they realized that they won this map. And now, that being said, they may have won this map, but that's actually an important thing I'd like to note about the mental aspect of playing competitively in any sport or video game, but playing it competitively in this one as well, is if you play like you're losing, you're generally going to try and play your best. It's either make or break. If you are playing overconfident, often you'll end up playing lazy and play tired, and then you'll play worse as a result. A team has gotten their advantage back in their favor, but often how I like to play the control point is play it as if I'm losing, even if I'm not, even if it's only the beginning of the game. Have the mindset of having to catch up even if you're ahead, and that is how you're going to maintain a lead or even defeat teams better than you, is playing with that mindset of having to do your best at all times, and that is what team was able to do today. HAXX was just not quite able to catch up in the second control point. Top scoring for HAXX is D9 with 34 kills, 39 deaths, 1000 score. Right on their heels is Satan Slayer, also with 1000 score. Meanwhile on team, Leclerc top scoring, likely the main button hitter, given by the 19 kills, 32 deaths, and almost 1300 score there. Well done, everybody. That was an exciting match to watch. That being said, we've got other matches on the docket. Be sure to check out the rest of the matches going on this weekend. And that'll be it from me. I've been Notgollum, and I'll see you all in the next one.